The true power of God has been inherited. Otsutsuki Shibai, known as the god who once devoured the lives of several planets and also mastered all shinjutsu, has passed it on to people who have been created by Amado. One of them is Kashin Koji, and it is named 10 Direction. In the past, after that bastard Kawaki made Boruto's life miserable, but that didn't make Boruto hate it. He decided to restore his family, including restoring Kawaki's wrong path. And the jerk, after Himawari recovered and managed to heal Sarada's wounds through kurama chakra, that asshole Kawaki banned Himawari when she wanted to heal him. And ironically, after Boruto saved them, with that dying condition, Boruto was handcuffed by Konohamaru. So here are the complete spoilers of Boruto Chapter 13. But even though it's not accurate in translation, I'm sure it's not completely wrong. But before that, like and subscribe, please. Let's get started. Chapter 13 cover is filled by Boruto as the main character in this story. And in this Chapter 13, we'll reveal many things that make you shocked. The chapter begins by showing Jura looking at Boruto from a distance through his Rinnegan eyes. But apparently, after seeing the dying condition, Jura looks like he wants to shoot a second time through his Rinnegan eyes. But unexpectedly. Before it actually shoots Boruto, Shinju Bug appears through the claw marks on the Jura robes. But because Bug felt his arrival was inappropriate, he asked Jura, "Am I in the way?" It turned out that Bug's unexpected arrival provided a favorable situation for Boruto. Because of that, Jura did not continue his intention to shoot Boruto a second time. And after that, Bug gave information to Jura. But if by what was said to Bug that based on his research and rituals had returned, Boruto had someone who helped him. Perhaps from these words, it seems that Jura has been asking for information and tracking more about Boruto through the other Shinju, after Boruto found out what the Thorn Soul really is. Jura also assumed that regarding the Thorn Soul that Boruto got the information, was it his ally who told him? And because Bug saw that Jura had the Thorn Soul, Bug stated, "Is that bastard dead?" And you know what after that? Jura is indeed a wise villain, although he has a goal, but he's not selfish. And after his enemy really can't fight back, Jura decides to return to the Shinju dimension. But it is not an ordinary reason or just to revive Hidari, but it is about the Thorn Soul. Because if it is left for too long, then the Thorn Soul will rot. And this is the right reason to return to the Shinju dimension. And as we suspected, Boruto had some luck. Before Jura left, she stated that Boruto was as if the sky was urging him to stay alive, and is this what they call divine intervention? And after that, we see Boruto's face, which is completely helpless. Then we saw a flashback when Boruto still had long hair. It was exactly when Boruto was still with Sasuke before becoming Shinju. But at that moment, Boruto seemed to be targeted by several shinobi, because after in Chapter 4 Code managed to seal Sasuke, Boruto had to escape from them. And while the shinobi was tracking the place because he felt Boruto was still close in that area, there was a frog behind him and called him. The frog spoke to Boruto and confused him because the frog could speak. There were 20 people there who were targeting Boruto, and the frog also explained that he was not a foe. And the frog also assured Boruto that he was on his side, because if he was with them, he would have contacted them by now and not chat with Boruto. Then Boruto asked the frog to tell him what he wanted. But before that, the frog suggested that it would be better to get out of this place first and talk afterwards. And the frog told Boruto to put his hand on the frog's back. It sounded quite strange and Boruto showed suspicion. But the frog explained that there was no time to think. Anywhere would be better than this. And instantly, when Boruto put his hand on the frog's back, Boruto was sucked in. And unexpectedly, Boruto was transported to an Orochimaru base. Boruto was transported through Kuchiyose no Jutsu, and the one who performed the summoning technique was Kashin Koji. In Chapter 4 yesterday, we saw Boruto pressed after the Code managed to capture Sasuke. It turned out to be Kashin Koji, who saved him from that place. Boruto was really confused and didn't know what place it was. And immediately Kashin Koji explained that this was outside the Land of Winds. This was one of the old hideout bases used by Orochimaru. I used genjutsu to make the entrance invisible and not easy to find. Boruto then confirmed about the frog. Is it a ninja tool? Kashin Koji explained that it is a scientific ninja tool that has a structure like an ordinary frog, but it is artificially created. I can control it remotely, And actually, you're not talking to the frog, but it was me all along. And after Kashin Koji explained that, Boruto didn't recognize him at all. Besides, did Kashin Koji recognize Boruto? The question is because when Kashin Koji explained, he took off his mask, and it looked unfamiliar to Boruto. And Kashin Koji showed a broken mask and showed it to Boruto. And after that, he asked if you recognize it now, Boruto? He was a little surprised to see it and realized that it was familiar. Then after taking off the mask again, Kashin Koji introduced himself. And not only that, Kashin Koji also stated that he was a human being created by Amado, a synthetic human being, or it can be called a cyborg. And after that, Boruto began to realize that Kashin Koji was the old man who had tried to kill Konohamaru. But the point is that Kashin Koji gave Boruto important information. And before that, he verified whether from birth until now he is Uzumaki Boruto. But he seemed to be confused about what Kashin Koji meant, and he asked Boruto to confirm it and answer honestly. Then, because in the current state everything has changed because of Ida, Boruto confirms to Kashin Koji, does he not know about omnipotence? And the point is that the purpose of Kashin Koji confirming that he is Boruto or not, it is because Kashin Koji does not know what omnipotence is. And secondly, in Kashin Koji's memory, Boruto is an Ishiki Otsutsuki vessel who was once a member of Kara, and Amado and himself worked together to help him escape. Then, is that true? The conclusion is that Kashin Koji was affected by Ada's omnipotence and mistakenly remembered that the Ishiki vessel was Boruto, when in reality it was Kawaki. But because of that, Kashin Koji now understands what happened to Boruto and Kawaki. Starting from Boruto's expulsion from the village, it seems that everything about him and Kawaki has changed completely. And from Kashin Koji's statement, Boruto seemed confused and didn't understand how it could happen. And if Kashin Koji could ignore the memory, how? But the point is that Kashin Koji has known it all, and he also apologized to Boruto because of the conditions and the mission he was doing, then he had to fight it. But with all that, Boruto understands the situation and condition of Kashin Koji. Boruto also states that he is also a shinobi. And I also feel the weight of carrying out a mission. Besides that, I did not explain my position, so it was frustrating for me because I had lived long enough as a person who lived it. Then Kashin Koji also explains that as he now knows, I was created by Amado to defeat Ishiki and stop the Divine Tree's plan to destroy the planet. And we see a flashback to when Kashin Koji fought against Ishiki. At the time of the fight against him, however, Ishiki's strength was beyond his imagination, and he was convinced that once Kashin Koji was able to pull him out of Jigen's body, then his role was complete. And at that moment, he was not at all afraid and regretted that he could give up his side to the Hokage. But in a calm state, while waiting for his death to come, Kashin Koji was surprisingly able to see the future. It's like a summary of future events that will happen. Starting from Boruto's fight against Kawaki, Brei Mode Naruto against Ishiki, Ishiki's death at the hands of Kawaki, the code that has turned Jubi into Sumeaka, and the last one about Ida's power that can change the position of Kawaki and Boruto to be different. Kashin Koji couldn't believe what he saw in the future, and it wasn't just that. In the future, he saw that Shinju had evolved and was growing in number with Jura as the leader. One of the Shinju in the future looked a lot like Shinki, and I was already convinced that it was Shinki in the future. And it turns out that there is something even bigger problem in the future. That is the Divine Tree growing on this planet. And in that dying moment, Kashin Koji decides to stay alive and eliminate the Jubi. And if he dies, then the Ishiki will not just stop, and the planet will be in danger. And after what he saw in the future, he compared it with the reality of what is happening in the present. And because of that, Kashin Koji decided to deepen his understanding and belief in this ability. And after all that Kashin Koji saw and explained it to Boruto, Boruto confirmed that it was the power that swapped his position with Kawaki. And about that power, does Kashin Koji know? Then because of the questions and talks with Boruto, Kashin Koji began to believe that this had gone on long enough, and the Hokage's son should become Kawaki. Boruto tries to confirm to Kashin Koji about the abilities he has and asks how he can get that power. Then Kashin Koji states that Boruto should hear that from Amado about shibai otsutsuki, because he once devoured the lives of several planets and he also mastered all shinjutsu. And not only that, He is also considered the god of someone otsutsuki from ancient times. But it seems that about otsutsuki shibai Boruto doesn't understand. And Kashin Koji re-explains that they, as Kara members, are given modified powers by Amado. And not only that, they also get shibai cells implanted in their bodies, which aim to get one of the shinjutsu from otsutsuki shibai if they're lucky. For example, Code, who has claw marks, Damon, who has the ability of reflection, and finally, Ada. She gets magical powers like a god. But of all those made by Amado, not all received shinjutsu from the power of otsutsuki shibai. For example, Boro, Delta, and Kashin Koji, they did not get any shinjutsu at all. But when Ishiki cornered Kashin Koji and when his life was on the verge of death, suddenly the power appeared. A power that is able to see all the futures. Boruto was shocked to hear what was explained and what power Kashin Koji possessed. But in essence, the future was clear. But the future was not a straight path. The story branched out intricately at the crossroads where the selection took place. In other words, it meant a battle of fate. Shown the incident where Naruto lost and Kawaki had to face his destiny in front of Ishiki, it was all on the timeline. The Hokage was killed, Ishiki reincarnated in Kawaki, and the planet will be destroyed by the divine tree he planted. And in essence, Kashin Koji told Boruto, although the possibility is strong, it is not happening. That day, the Hokage disappeared because of Kawaki. You and he had a fight that eventually got you killed by Kawaki. Uchiha Sarada tried to intervene. In this version, you and Kawaki never switched places. After that, Kawaki was defeated by Code, and you were eaten by the Ten Tails. The God Tree will cause the planet to be erased. It's hard to prove what I saw. For a timeline that didn't materialize, all I've wanted for years is for our future to continue walking a dangerous tightrope. Then after what Kashin Koji told Boruto, it turned out that his response was the same as what we thought. Boruto stated that, "It's a far-fetched story, but I can't overlook the way you grasped what omnipotence is that's unnatural. I rather don't think that what you saw was all there is to the future. I'll admit it doesn't seem like baseless crap." Kashin Koji was grateful for what Boruto said. But in the end, Kashin Koji said that it just means things will turn out the way they're meant to be, right? So you've seen different future scenarios. How's that helping? The biggest advantage is easy information. If it assists you in your fugitive life, you won't be driven into a dead end like before. With an anxious face, Boruto states that, right, it definitely helps. And with all the anxiety and bad luck in the future, Kashin Koji gives a solution and states that with the skills and jutsu that you will have in the future, I can teach your current self. You can improve your training and make it more efficient. Boruto was so excited and responded well under, "That's so cool." Then Kashin Koji continued saying that there is no chronological contradiction. I'm just telling you what I saw. There is also a way to save Uchiha Sasuke, who has turned into a tree. However, I will explain it later. But first, I want you to know that it can happen. Right now, it's the worst possible future. Boruto was anxious again after hearing about the bad future. And the bad thing that happened in the future that we have seen now is that the Ten Tails have managed to break free from the Code's control and evolve into several humanoid Shinju with their own will. It is estimated that there are 400 humanoid Shinju, and if the power source of the Ten Tails could be destroyed, the situation would be under control. However, the chances of doing this were slim. Each humanoid Shinju has a unique form, and the most dangerous is the leader, Jura. That's what Kashin Koji told Boruto. Boruto was a little anxious again with the name mentioned as their leader, Jura. And not only that, in the future, Boruto will be killed by him. And that was proven in chapter 12. And even so, Kashin Koji said that, "I won't say everything, but in many futures, the outcome remains the same." What happened afterward was more or less the same. Kawaki becomes a victim and ends this world. This world will end, that's for sure. That cannot happen. We cannot let the worst future happen. There are many possibilities, as I mentioned earlier. Even if you know this fact, every moment we pass this way, we are changing our future. But if that's the future, Boruto seems to have principles and goals, and the words Boruto said will make you feel your whole body tremble. Whether it's to stop the divine tree plan or something, there's no way I'll ever agree to kill Kawaki. I'll get my stupid brother back to his senses and I'll restore the Uzumaki family once again. That's my goal. Damn, this is so cool, Boruto. Although I don't agree if he wants to resuscitate and don't agree if Kawaki is killed. Then Boruto took Sasuke's headband and put it on. And at that very moment, Boruto decided he would overcome the great obstacle that lay before him, namely the Ten's tail, and asserted that he could handle it all. And that was the end of the long conversation between Kashin Koji and Boruto after Kashin Koji saved Boruto in Chapter 4. Then we return to the present where Boruto is awake but not fully recovered. Not only Boruto, Sarada was also injured due to an attack by Jura. But when Konohamaru focused on Sarada's injury, Sarada said that she was fine. Sarada asked to just focus on Boruto. And we return to see Himawari, who has recovered from her wound. And when Himawari sees Sarada injured, she immediately runs to her like she's fine, without the slightest injury. She asks Sarada to show her wound, and suddenly, Himawari holds Sarada's wound and a kurama chakra flows in her hand, which makes Sarada's wound quickly heal. This is really amazing and makes them surprised. But because she saw that the wound was small, Himawari stated that it was fine. Then, after seeing Himawari successfully heal Sarada, Sumire called her and asked Himawari to heal Boruto. Himawari didn't seem to realize that the one who saved her was Boruto. And when Himawari wanted to get closer to Boruto and heal his wound, the Kawaki jerk told her not to go near Boruto. But Kawaki reasoned otherwise, not to misunderstand that, because there was something that had to be done before that. But apparently Kawaki glanced at Konohamaru, and it seems that the two of them have been working together. Konohamaru approached the dying Boruto and told Sumire to get out of the way. And crazily, without thinking about the effort Boruto had put in and his current condition, Konohamaru cuffed Boruto's hands. It was Amado's sealing shackle. And now Boruto will not be able to use any jutsu. Sarada really didn't accept Konohamaru's treatment of Boruto, but Konohamaru said not to complain because this is the natural thing to do. And after that, he will contact the 8th Hokage. And unfortunately, the frog that was supposed to be the link between Boruto and Kashin Koji, Kawaki jerk took it and destroyed it. As soon as the frog was destroyed, Kashin Koji felt that this had become a big problem. Then we return to the Shinju dimension, where now they place the thorn soul on top of the cube, and instantly the thorn sticks into the cube, and the tree roots around it start to bind it. And suddenly, Hidari is back. With Hidari's return, Jura asks if something is wrong, but Hidari's mind is unstable and doesn't know that. But in essence, at the end of this story, after they successfully revived Hidari, they showed the other thorn soul. That's what Matsuri showed to Jura. Immediately, the thorn soul was placed on top of the cube and we will see a new Shinjut. But the name of the Shinjut is still being thought of. This is really crazy. Masashi Kishimoto really cooked up a very epic Boruto story. Don't you guess? This is according to what Kashin Koji saw. He is Shinki. So that's the complete spoilers of Boruto Chapter 13. If there's anything wrong or missing, you can comment. But since the official manga releases on the 20th tomorrow, I will update as soon as possible. Like and subscribe. I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.